Alright, let's just dive right into it. So, decided to give Pauper one more chance. We've got, this is our 6th Pauper deck. Had someone offer to throw some dollars at Affinity, so I decided to try one more. So we've got Atogs and Flings and Temur Battle Rage, and more importantly, we don't even have this in Modern. All of our lands in this archetype are artifacts, which makes Atog extra powerful, and it makes things like Frogmite and Myr Enforcer extra powerful. So basically, always play Frogmite for 2 mana at a minimum, usually much less. So got Carapace Forger here, which is basically a 4/4 for 2 mana because it has Metalcraft. So let's dive on into some matches and see how this one goes. I feel like this deck hopefully doesn't fall into one of the two categories of decks that these other Pauper decks have fallen into. So a lot of the other Pauper decks we've played are either just incredibly grindy and can never kill the opponent, or they're aggressive, but they're super linear and don't really have a lot of meaningful decisions in them. So this deck is capable of some very aggressive draws, but it also has things like Galvanic Blast and Fling to a degree to allow it to be a little bit interactive. And it also has like things like Metallic Rebuke and Hydroblast and stuff like that out of the sideboard. So I feel like this deck might be a good mix of both being proactive with some consistency, but also like allowing us to be a little bit reactive and interactive when our linear plan isn't good enough. Hey, Shard, thanks for the half of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. What was the deck of the day yesterday? You can always find out what the deck of the day was by heading on over to the website and then clicking videos favorite. And there's a nice handy playlist there. Click videos favorite. So yesterday was the Kite-Car combo. Ended up taking the deck of the day yesterday, and there's always a playlist down here of all the past deck of the day selections. So if you're wondering what the best of the best is from a given day, you can always find it there. I would love to play first. This hand seems a little bit mediocre. It doesn't have, I think if I had green to cast this, I probably would keep this, but I think without green to cast this hand just doesn't really go anywhere. There's also, if you're someone who prefers to stay on YouTube, there is also, there's also the Hoogle Picks playlist is on the front page of my YouTube channel. Just youtube.com/FHoogle. There's a bunch of playlists there. Evolving Wild. So slow fetch land. To go ahead and get our Carapace Forger into play. Not quite a 4/4 yet. Metalcraft says when you have 3 or more artifacts, it gets bigger. It might be right to wait on this. Yeah, if they're playing like a lightning bolt deck. If I wait till I get 1 more artifact, this doesn't die to a bolt, which is ideal. So it might be right to lead on the Atog here. Yeah, that might have been wrong. If I let on the Atog would die, and then this turn I would have like played Frogmite, played Forger, and had 6 power in play instead of 3. Augur of Bolas. Yep. That's probably going to eat a Galvanic Blast here. How close are they to dead? This is... So every artifact is +2. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8. This is 18. I guess... yeah, a red source kills them, right? Kill this and start getting in chip shots, I guess. The mana base in this deck is interesting, trying to make the artifact lands work. We've got some of our prismatic cards, but without seeing like a star or a sphere. Mana seems kind of awkward. Oh, I'd have sacrificed 2 artifacts to keep that alive. That does not seem worthwhile. I'm just going to concede from this point. This is probably a matchup where I don't want Temur Battle Rage and Fling. I probably want to be a little bit more... have a little bit better 1-for-1s. Hydroblast and Metallic Rebuke seem fine. The opponent's deck usually has Auramancer in it, which is I think that's the name of the card that returns like bad Snapcaster Rage, returns instant or sorcery from their graveyard to their hand. I don't know if that means I want Relic though. Probably not. Leaving some amount of Galvanic Blast in is probably fine. Let's give this a try. I don't know how I feel about Pauper. It's hard to know for sure. A lot of the number of the decks we've played so far have felt really kind of tedious. The format's got a lot of long, slow grind in it, and because there's a lot of long, slow grind, it's like you're playing your long, slow grind against someone else's long, slow grind. I guess I keep because I can cast all my spells. And because there's so much long, slow grind, like, we played Elves yesterday or the day before, and even though that's an aggressive deck, like, there's so many other slow, grindy decks, a number of your matches just, like, take forever. And the format seems to... it's, like, very limited-esque in the way the board stalls end up generating and happening. So if I play... the Darksteel Citadel, I can play Myr Enforcer this turn. This also only costs me 1 mana. Let's do that to start. And then Frogmite is free. And then this costs 2 now. That worked out really well. Look, it's an Affinity deck that has Affinity cards in it, chat. How novel. Accumulate knowledge. Draw a card, then draw cards equal to the number of accumulated knowledges in all graveyards. Anybody around remember when Broodstar was a card that saw occasional play in Modern Affinity? Remember when, like, doing things like this is what was considered busted in Modern? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I think I'm just playing Forger here. Were the artifact lands ever legal in Modern? I don't remember. I want to say no, but I feel like they might have been. I'm gonna Hydroblast this. They were never legal. We need to read David something else. Artifact stuff. Artifacts to the Electric Boogaloo. So a casual 14 power in play. Gonna add Mr. Atog next turn. It might have even been right to play Mr. Atog over the Carapace Forger to threaten lethal next turn. Opponent frantically casting cantrips, trying to figure out a way to stay alive here. Hopefully that bodes well for us. I'm not 100% familiar with all the cards in this format, but I feel like there's not like a Shatterstorm in this format, right? That's not something I need to worry about. You can scred one of my 4/4s and take 10 opponent. Yeah, your gain 4 resolves. Vandal Blast is legal, really? Is that a common? All right, ain't gotta worry about Vandal Blast. Got it. Vandal Blast is an uncommon. Yeah, that's what I thought. I've registered that card before. Alright, look at that. We've only been playing for 9 minutes and we're going to game 3. That bodes well for this deck. That's a good 9 minutes heading to the third game. That's what I like to see. Get him the old rundowns. Yeah, I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded here. Seems fine. Interesting that they brought in or left in Spellstunner's Brain against us. I feel like we don't have that many things with that counters. I guess they have the 1-mana fairy. No Pyroblast in the 75 seems weird. I feel like that card's pretty good in this format. Seems reasonable. This is good because it lets me play Forger on 2 as a 4/4. Which lets us get our beat down on pretty quickly. If they played Double Island, I might play around Counterspell. They did not, so I'm just going to go ahead and jam Forger down their throat. This is my 4/4. There are many like it, but this one is mine. So next turn, I can go Atog into Wellspring. Because the Atog will tap for a mana along with the Springleaf Drum. I actually can't do that because... Oh, Forger is perfect. See, I don't have base red mana to start. So now I can go Forger into Atog. I guess they could potentially have a counterspell here. I think I want to just get another threat on the table here. This might be wrong. Yeah, Shenanigans isn't like destroy my entire board though, right? Yeah, and like Gorilla Shaman is slow. There isn't like a my opponent's gonna all of a sudden tap like 4 or 5 mana, my entire board's going away. Like those cards, the cards people are listing are like nowhere near on the level of Shatterstorm against a deck like this. Like they're good, don't get me wrong, they're just like not Shatterstorm good. What format I'm playing today? We are currently playing Pauper. The first deck in my stream title is always... my sequencing here is bad. Should have played this after this. This gives them a chance to bolt this. I guess I can float mana in response. You can always tell what format we're currently playing, so it'll be the first deck listed in the stream title. We work hard to keep the stream title updated throughout the day. Hey, Ryan Cryptic, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. Hope your Tuesday is finding you swell. Welcome to Hooglandia. Yeah, Pauper actually just got a little bit of official support for the first time ever. It is... has an official sanction list now, which is something it didn't have previously. Let's start with... Oh, nope. Oh, Prism filters mana, right? So that's not a big deal. Frogmite. Atog. Atog resolving while our board is this big is a huge deal. Nope, you did not interpret it wrong. I just had someone send me a pile of money. We're an honest mercenary. Somebody was like, Jeff, I will give you dollars to play Pauper Affinity if you want to give it one more try. And I was like, yes, I will take your dollars. Let's give it a go. Hydroblast. Poor Atog. Poor Atog. Hydroblast is not a terrible pickup. So, Perilous Research, let's just draw 2 cards and sacrifice a permanent. So this is basically a draw 3, so we get to sack this Ichor Wellspring. Perfect. Alright, so... I can Galvblast this so I can start attacking. And then I can play Carapace Forger. And then the Springleaf Drum with the Forger lets me hold up Hydroblast. And my opponent's down to 2 cards here. So, like, I've got 8 power. I've got a Hydroblast to counter a red removal spell, like a Scred on my Forger. So, it feels like we're in a pretty okay spot at the moment. Like, not unlosable, but, like, pretty okay. That's a draw 3. Yikes. They just had 3 copies of Accumulate Knowledge. Hey Jeff, hope your Tuesday's going well. I'm getting back into MTG since Time Spiral, and I came from YouTube land to give you my dollar dues. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the YouTube stuff. Thanks for keeping me around. Yikes. Alright, well I assume this isn't resolving. And like I said, we were in a good spot, but not in a losable spot. Looks like we're gonna die. Yep. That is quite the card. Threshold, deal 5 damage to each creature and player. Alright, we have a 4-4 versus their thing. Vault Bros! Here from the YouTube realm. Thanks to the warm welcome in Discord the other day. Hope today goes excellent. Thanks for the half a year, Vault. Well, they're down to 1 card, so like, yeah, say if we just like rip an Atog or some draw spells into an Atog, we're gonna be A-okay. We can fade another Hydroblast here on Mr. Atog. They're dead next turn, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Who we gonna annihilate? Their life total. Their life total. Yes, we can. If Atog can't do it, no one can. Fuller, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to on Twitch, everyone. Thanks for sending it my way. They cast a Scred. Deal damage to target a creature equal number of snow permanents you control. So all of their lands are snow covered. What is our opponent's win con? Tedious 1 power creatures. So they are casting this to make me save this. So like they're like casting this to make me sacrifice 2 artifacts. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we can put them to 1 currently. They have no cards, so any artifact is lethal. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And they have no cards, so they're dead. Atog is hungry. Atog is hungry. Gobble gobble. Look at him. Look at him. Look at that. Look at that artifact eating grin on his face. He's just like, yeah, boy. Yeah, buddy. And watching for 3 months, and great to finally chat with you all. Well, welcome. Hope your Tuesday is finding you well, Fuller. Is a good old Atog renewed by faith in Pauper? Maybe. I said when we started that this deck seems like it kind of avoids some of the pitfalls of the other decks we've been playing, which is like the other decks were either like long and tedious that couldn't win quickly, or they could win quickly but they didn't really have much interaction. And like the fact that this deck is like an aggressive deck that gets to play things like Hydroblast and Rebuke as well as Galvanic Blast gives it a little bit of an angle of attack that just isn't present in the other Pauper decks we've played so far to date. Soon, Emilis. So, Allie gets my prime every month, but I gotta toss you 5 for the Yarok Field deck that I've been wrecking with the budget version of. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, Yarok Field is one of the decks that I'm between for the event, the MCQ. This thing's actually really good, right? I get to go Darksteel Citadel, Springleaf Drum on 1, and then I go Darksteel Citadel, pay 1 for Frogmite, use Frogmite plus Springleaf Drum to Forger on 2. So we'll have 6 power on 2, and we'll have Springleaf Drum to make our colors of mana. Bojuka Bog. Enter Stamped, exiles all cards target player's graveyard. This is a card a lot of Pauper decks just like miscellaneous play in their mana base as like a tap plan. Just because there's a lot of random graveyard synergies in this format. Like, the cost of like having one of their swamps come into play tapped is low. And the upside of being able to exile a graveyard can be high. Essence Scatter. Yikes. How much to add Pauper decks to the Pauper queue? I'm not certain if I'm taking more Pauper decks at the moment. So, I'm going to be off Thursday, Friday this week, and I'm only doing 2 Modern decks tomorrow morning. So, I'm going to be... I'm going to look at all the data when I get back from Gen Con. And I will let folks know if Pauper is going to be something we continue to do next week. Which figure? If I put you to 4 in response. Actually, that was wrong, right? I should hold up Fling in case they go to kill this. Yeah, that was wrong. Yeah, that was wrong. I should have held up Fling. They had 3 mana up, so there's a good chance the Fling gets countered anyways, but I definitely should have held up Fling there. Yep. Yeah, I try to make all my decisions based on data-driven stuff. So like in theory I have enough like modern decks and stuff like that to like stream Modern full-time in the mornings. But if there's a demand for Pauper, I'm happy to add it into the mix, but it depends on like what the demand looks like. Alright, it's not bad. Get some cards going here. Mana Leak's legal in this format, right? I wonder if that's a thing I have to worry about. Not just gonna play Atog out here. I think when I play Atog, I want to have Fling up with him as well. Ooh, that's a good pickup. That's also a good draw. So I can... Let's lead on Mr. Atog here. You're excluding him. I think it's right to jam the Galvanic Blast there. I feel like the odds I'm able to put together that many things all at once to force through that many counterspells is low, so I should just like make them have it there. Gabja, thank you for the 8 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Let's keep that. Stoneforge. Stoneforge bad. Grr, Stoneforge. Think twice. And they didn't flash back the Think Twice, so they probably have another counterspell, which is unsurprising. Wouldn't be surprised to get like prohibited again here. Devious Cover Up. So again, we're playing against something that's just like incredibly long grindy. It seems like a majority of the format is decks like this. Worth noting that if I had saved the Galvanic Blast, we could have gotten them there with that. And unfortunately, they just gained a life. So like we're not able to have a lethal fling with a creature like this anymore. Maybe because they have so many counter spells, looking at their Devious Cover-Up. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if their win condition is actually just like decking us with Devious Cover-Ups. So at this point, I think I'm hanging tight until I have multiple spells in the same turn that I can try and force through. This is probably another matchup where Fling and Battle Rage are not good. I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna follow my golden rule of that, like, I know we're not 0% here, but when Magic stops being fun, you should stop playing, so. I don't think that's true. And the reason why I don't think it's true is because if they have a removal spell, you've gotten 2 for 1 with your Temur Battle Rage, so. Sounds like a bad use of my time. I don't really have anything else here that can come in. We have 2 rebukes and 2 relics. Cut those 4 cards. Sideboarding's really clean at least. Like I said, no red elemental blast in this sideboard seems weird. I feel like that's a card I wish I had. There's just so many like blue decks that are just like being mopey in this format that having like 1 mana, screw your blue spell is like kind of good. Which is again like, this is why I've tried to give this format a chance, but like I don't know if like I'm being fed bad deck lists or if I'm getting unlucky or if this is just what the format is, right? Like it's hard to know. There's just so many variables. There isn't a jeffhoagland.com for Pauper lists. You just have to, like, look at random 5-0 lists and hope that you're getting information that's reasonable. Also think, and someone else had commented on my Pauper video from yesterday that they kind of just agreed with the sentiment that, like, even if this format is, like, something we want to play, it probably just doesn't make for good television. Just by, like, the nature of, like, how the games tend to go. Just doesn't make for good TV. We got you, Avalancher. We live to please. You have counterspelled my Grizzly Bear. Yeah, Burn's great. Burn with a couple of, with some sideboard graveyard hate. Probably very reasonable. I think I'm just supposed to cycle this to try and hit a land drop here. Yikes. I mean, anything by virtue of it not being good for, by virtue of not being good for Twitch means it's also not going to be good on, means it's also not going to be good for YouTube. YouTube doesn't, like, change anything on a fundamental level. Oh, well, you know. I didn't want to just blast them there while they were kind of tapped out because I want to get more artifacts into play so I can get this Myr Enforcer down at some point. Yeah. So we can rebuke a counterspell here, which will be nice. So if they try to counter this, we'll rebuke it, and then we'll Galvanic Blast them. We are playing Pauper Affinity versus blue-black grind you out. I got 3 of these. I'm just going to start taking pop shots at them here. They're choked on mana. Would not be surprised if they're dead here with the double blast in our hand. Elemental Whisperer, thank you for the 5 months support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Stop it. All right, on the scoreboard at least. And again, just like kind of seeing why the lack of red elemental blast is a little sad. I'm happy with how we sideboarded. Let's run it back here. Opponent missed on land drops there for a little bit, which was nice. Allowed us to kind of overwhelm them with multiple spells in a turn. We basically have 3 colorless lands in our hand here, so pretty easy mulligan without any fixing. And this is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. My opponent also went to 6. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is what we're doing, huh? I'm gonna bottom Galv Blast. I think I'm bottoming Prophetic Prism. I'm just like hoping to draw a land. Punish for keeping the Enforcer. It's fine. If we draw a land next turn, we get to go land Wellspring Frogmite. All right. That is kind of the sequence we needed here. They see me rolling, do do do, do 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 do. We took a lot of game actions. Hey, the storm count was 4 there, okay? Storm count was 4. Don't you be hating. This deck seems much better with the London Mulligan. Magic, I agree with Jen. Magic is better with the London Mull. Can I get this toward Blue-Red Phoenix, please? You definitely can, Webwin. Thanks for the support. I appreciate you keeping me around. Do 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 do. All right. Which figure? Womp womp. Yep. Should probably cycle these stars. What is in their hand? Is their hand just like all removal spells? Must be, huh? That's a pretty good pickup. Hey, Temur, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is a good pickup because they could have blue elemental blasts. If this resolves though, it draws cards with these Ichor Wellsprings. Yeah, their hand just could just be a bunch of blue elemental blasts. Hey Jeff, I donated for a Jeskai control build around on Arena a week or so ago, and I don't see the deck in the queue. That probably means it got played. A lot of the build around decks came up really quickly. I'm pretty sure. Oh, we played Jeskai Planeswalkers. There's Jeskai Planeswalker, Jeskai Narset. I did Jeskai Sahili, something like that. I'm pretty sure that one's actually up on the website under standard decks. If I recall correctly. I'm gonna cycle through these. Just see where we can end up at. Land's a decent draw here. I guess if I would have cycled through these in advance, I could have rebuked this Elemental Blast. So maybe that's a mistake. Killer and Me with the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Relic's not a terrible draw. At least cycles. They have 4 cards in their hand. They just like have a bunch of blue elemental blasts. I'm just gonna counter this. Their hand very clearly doesn't do anything. Alright, well, I mean, it might be dead. This might be wrong, and maybe I'm just supposed to, like, hang out until they tap off a blue. Might be right to just hang out till they tap off a blue. Yep, Myr Enforcer. That's a Gurmag Angler. So, like, yeah, I punted this game. You're like, don't give them the ability to play the big fish if I don't play into that there. And, like, now they have a 5/5 and we're flooding out. 6, 7, 8. But it doesn't matter. I would have killed them if I would have, if I'd have waited. Yay! Better lucky than good! Better lucky than good! Yay! Better lucky than good! I definitely messed up the timing on the second Galvanic Blast. I should have waited. We gave them the window to play the Gurmag. It was real bad. I mean, I feel like the 2 games we won have been good examples of why a deck like this is something I'm willing to play. Maybe if we accept Pauper, I just be super selective and only take decks that can kill people. That's probably not a bad rule. Let it get in. Nivik had linked me a green-black Aristocrats deck that looked kind of sweet. So maybe we do accept Pauper, but I just be selective about what I take. Yeah, it's basically the same decision I made with Modern, right? I reject decks that are bad and decks that are like extra grindy. The difference with Modern versus Pauper is that, like, a lot of the grindy decks in Pauper are very good. They're just tedious and don't make for good television. In Modern, I just mostly reject decks that are bad, because a lot of the grindy decks people submit are bad, but, like, in Pauper, it would mean, you know, rejecting decks that are playable, but just, like, don't make for good television, which is probably ultimately the best decision to make. Yeah, I agree, Bob. There's too much downtime, right? Longer queue time? Nah, queue times are about the same. I think this is actually probably the longest we've waited for a Pauper match at any given point, but sometimes Modern takes a little bit too. Morning, Green Sky. Pauper is better in paper since people concede when you show them the loop. Yeah, there's also a lot of these decks like the Infinite Mill deck that we said, that set up the Ghostly Flicker deck, the one where we went 4-0 in games, then dropped the league at 2-0 undefeated, was a good example of like a deck that's probably much less tedious to play in paper, just because a lot of the mechanics of the deck play out much more elegantly in paper. This hand's very good. These starts are super strong. We have to go Artifact Land Drum into Frogmite Forger. That is also a good draw. Am I a mid-range player at heart? Nah, tempo decks are probably the ones I find the most interesting. Decks like this, actually. I don't even know if you classify all these as tempo, but generally speaking, the decks that I enjoy playing are the decks that have aggressive starts, but also have aggressive starts, but are also a little bit interactive when being interactive is good. Garbage decks. But I mean, the garbage decks with Birds of Paradise have a little bit of interaction in them, Bob. That's part of the reason why I like them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I play this, Myr Enforcer is free. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. I like brunch decks. Not quite aggro, not quite lunch. That's my favorite Magic archetype, is brunch for sure. This deck is basically Hagak. It seems like it, Bob, right? Just get up and go. Decks like that black-green Stompy deck that we played, the green-black Stompy deck we played in Standard. I'm a big fan of decks of that style. Opponent keeps killing my 4/4s. Stop killing my 4/4s. Yeah, Thoughtcast or Perilous Research would be great here. Should our deck play 3-bit Inspector? I don't think so. We don't have that much white mana. Astrolab, do whatever an Astrolab can. Do 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 do. Astrolab, do do do. They have like a bolt here. They can block plus bolt to kill one of my things. Hopefully they don't have double bolt here. I've actually elected to play a list without the dredgers in it, Green Sky. I did a bunch of looking at deck lists last night, and I decided to play one that did not have those cards in it. Because it looked like a lot of the successful lists did not play those cards. I think I ended up playing Matt Severa's list. I think was the person who's 75 I ended up going with. All of the PV and Severa and a few other people all had crabs. So I just like looked through all the lists that were playing crabs. That was like the one thing that was really unique-ish to your list compared to other things. And I found my favorite crab list from the PT. What? All right. Guess who's back? Back again. Thraben's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? He's gonna draw more cards. Do 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 do. Pew 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 do. This is Pauper. Generate storm count. Get your Thraben inspectors back. Better than tendrils. Yep. Alright, I guess we just keep attacking. Thraben Inspector is the new Vengevine. I mean, all I'm gonna say is there's a lot of people who stream Magic, but there aren't nearly as many people who sing terrible things while they stream Magic. And I have a lot of viewers compared to a lot of people, so I can only assume you're here for the singing and not for the actual Magic, since it's what makes this channel unique. That feels like the natural conclusion. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and pack it in. All right, so I guess they have a lot of red cards in there. They don't have that many red cards though, right? Am I just supposed to click submit? Is that crazy? I feel like I'm looking at the sideboard and I don't want any of these cards. I'm only here for the music while I work. So what makes the card frame for Jeff change? I have a tool that lets me change my... Oh, Relic's a good call. I have a tool that I wrote that lets me change my card frame color based on the boxes that I check here. So I've been changing my frame to different things based on the deck that we're playing. Why do I want Flaring Pain? What are they playing that makes me want Flaring Pain? Prismatic Strands. Is it crazy to cut frogs? I'm gonna cut frogs. They don't line up well into what their creatures are a lot of the time. The mana base in this deck is a lot worse than I otherwise wish it was. I'm gonna gamble on this. If we miss, we'll just go to the next match. Hey, morning, Draco Thubin. Thanks for the half a year of support. Couple of things that I'm going to be talking about a few times today. If you were here yesterday, there's going to be a little bit of repeats for you. First is that I'm going to be off Wednesday afternoon and all day Thursday and Friday this week. So I'm going to be going to Gen Con in Indianapolis this weekend. So doing another long stream today, and then I'll be on tomorrow morning for 2 Moto Leagues, as always, but then there's going to be no arena tomorrow afternoon, and no stream at all Thursday and Friday. Actually, the list we're going to play today it's playing Crab and Satyr Wayfinder's Crafted. The list in the deck queue isn't exactly what we're playing. Just a loose... And then the other thing is that this will be my last month, so today and tomorrow will be my last couple of streams with the Tempo Storm branding. I'm going to be parting ways with their organization after this month, so in my day-to-day, nothing's really going to be changing around the stream. There's going to be some branding changes, so I wanted to let people know so it's not a surprise. We don't get a bunch of questions when that's different when I get back from Gen Con. Yeah, there will almost certainly still be questions, but I do believe in being proactive, so... Alright, so, this seems like not super aggressive, but I think I can keep this. I kind of like, the colors in this deck are awkward enough that I feel like a hand that just like, cast every spell that I draw is, like, pretty keepable. And, like, while this deck's a little bit aggressive, it can grind a little bit on the back of Thoughtcast, which is nice. I actually don't have an artifact frame. Maybe I should get one of those. Seeker of the Way. Prowess. Whenever you cast a spell, it gains lifelink. The curiosity, did you originally reach out to Tempo Storm, or did they reach out to you? They reached out to all the Magic players when they were putting together their Magic division at the start of the year, when there was hype surrounding Magic and esports. It's gonna be interesting to see where Magic and esports in general go. How hard and long Wizards is gonna like double down into like this whole esports thing. I think Affinity actually ran those cards, yep. Alright, so almost certainly just Galvanic the Seeker of the Way next turn. Just gonna get that out of the way. Let's Thoughtcast to start, see where we end up at. Yeah, but I mean, I kind of feel like that's already happened, right? Like I feel like a lot of the excitement has come and gone, and while it's brought some new people to stay with them, a lot of the new people that are here aren't here because we're an esport, right? They're here because Magic's a great game, and like from a casual perspective, Magic's a lot of fun. Alright, so... I just played 2 Atogs here. I think I just played 2 Atogs. Unfortunately, I'm 1 artifact shy of being able to Myr Enforcer for free. He cost me 1, right? Yeah. For the record, I don't think Wizards restructuring competitive paper Magic is a bad thing. I think competitive paper Magic has been a black money hole for them for a long time, most likely. And them trying to turn it into something more profitable probably makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. And that's like not what a lot of long-term competitive grinders want to hear, but it's almost certainly the reality of the situation. I think a lot of really competitive players like drastically overestimate what proportion of the player base and Wizards income comes from those players that are very competitive. An article about what? A restructure. I mean, we've been experiencing the restructure for the last year. They've been dragging their feet on it. The MPL is the initial restructure. Yeah, maybe I should be being more aggressive here. I don't know that I'm really. I don't know how aggressive I'm supposed to be in this matchup. I'm aware. So, like, and again, this is where Wizards doesn't really understand what they're supposed to be doing, it feels like, Jin. The people, one, they didn't make everyone in the MPL take a streaming contract, and two, people who did take streaming contracts in the MPL are only required to stream something like 8 hours a week or something like that. It balances out to over the course of a year. Klaus was zombie. Thank you for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for putting mine this month with that. All right, let's lead on this and then maybe get a little aggressive here. Yeah, we probably kill them this turn, right? They have to kill both my Atogs. And even if they go to kill both my Atogs, Flings and Temur Battle Rage probably still kill them. So if they're playing Prismatic Strange with some of their Fog effect, I probably want Flaring Pain. Is this another matchup where Frogmite gets outclassed and I want to trim that? Temur Battle Rage. Maybe I just want Fling and I don't want the Battle Rage. Do I want Metallic Rebuke? Rebuke seems like it could potentially be okay. Get you in a bit, Jin. So, when answering the question, like, would artifact lands be too good for Modern? I feel like part of the reason people struggle to answer questions like that is because we don't really know what Modern is supposed to be as a format, right? So, like, for example, if you think about, like, what the artifact lands are enabling, compared to things like, say, Hagak and some other of the good combo decks in Modern, no, the artifact lands really aren't that good. But you gotta ask yourself, like, fundamentally, what is like the goal for the format? Like, what's the power level supposed to be? Seems to me that the MPL's members don't stream MTGA issue is a bit overblown. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's overblown, but I would also say that any fault from that issue is not on the streamers, it's on Wizards for not understanding what their contract should be obligating people to do. That is where I would fall on the issue. I also think that even when the MPL streamers are streaming, Wizards of the Coast has not done a lot of the very simple, easy things they could do to properly promote those players and their streams for very little added effort. They have the capability to add a lot of value to that investment that they're making. Like, it feels like they've spent $2.5 million or whatever it is, like, on these MPL players, and they've really not leveraged them properly for the money they've spent. Like, the amount of stuff they could get for that $2 million compared to what it seems like they're getting from the MPL does not seem proportional. And that's in part because they're not really using the MPL members to their fullest extent that they could be. Alright, so we'll do this. We're going to blast my Frogmite in response here. So I can cast this Myr Enforcer for 1, and then use the Myr Enforcer with the Springleaf Drum to cast an Atog. I would prefer if we don't get into chat saying other people are better and worse than others. I'm all for letting me know. You can feel free to share which other streamers you enjoy, but there's no need to turn it into some kind of pissing contest. Mid Valley, thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. And we have actual factual Atogs in our deck. Yeah, and it seems most erroneous on Wizards' part too, because I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but we're talking about like things they're doing with the MPL and stuff like that. Wizards has multiple people who literally their entire job at Wizards of the Coast is managing influencers. Like, there's literally a person there whose job title is influencer manager. So it's not like they don't have the resources to make it happen, right? Like, there's someone who their entire purpose is to make that happen, right? Pillar of Light. We're exiling my Myr. Sure. Are they dead next turn? I think they're dead next turn. No, not quite, because I need mana to cast Fling. I guess I'll sacrifice this. Alright, does Great Furnace let me kill them? So I play Great Furnace. I can sacrifice 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's 9. That puts them to 17. Not quite, huh? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So even if I had Temur Battle Rage, they still wouldn't be dead here, right? What if I sacrifice the Chromatic Star? I could maybe hit something that way. That's another Ancient Den. That doesn't work, Conqueror. You have to change phases between blockers and damage, and your mana pool empties when you change from blockers to damage. I mean, I don't know if that's a fair assessment, because if nobody's paying, the idea that nobody pays a competitive wage means that everybody's paying a competitive wage in a way, right? Like, if you're subscribing to the idea that competitive wages don't exist, that just means everybody's paying low, so that means the low pay is competitive, which is just not the case, right? So it seems hyperbolic to me to imply like this is an issue everywhere. I think I want to keep Mr. Atog alive here. Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's another thing too, right? Like what Ryan said there. Like we can all sit here and be like armchair critics of like how Wizards is like running their company and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is they just had literally their most profitable quarter ever. So it's hard to be like, well, they don't know what they're doing and they're making every decision wrong, when it's like, well, they're just making money hand over fist, right? And that's not to say they're doing everything right, but if to imply they're doing everything wrong is also just silly. They have another bolt here. If they have another bolt here, they would have bolted this on their turn, I think. Once I kill the Seeker of the Way, their ability to tread water kind of goes away, which is nice. So maybe we can actually start making inroads on their health total here. I feel like with many things in life, business, magic, people speak with certainties too often. When people say, well, they're not maximizing everything that they do, we could say like they're likely not maximizing everything they do, but the reality of the situation is like you don't necessarily know that what you're doing is necessarily going to result in something better, right? You can speculate, but saying with certainty is usually a mistake. They picking up 2 creatures out of their bin here again. I think this is the same deck we just played against the round before this one. Picking up Seeker of the Way, I assume. Yep. So, and this is, what I'm about to say is not to like belittle the good software that Magic Arena is, because Magic Arena is genuinely good software. Are they dead? Hold on, pause. Are they dead? 2, 4, 6, 8. They take 10. And this is 9, 13. So I can do 10 plus 13, which is only 23. Yeah. So a big part of why Magic Online is impossible to follow isn't even related to the fact that Magic Online is ugly. Magic Online is difficult for new people to follow for 2 reasons. One, there's no integrated overlay on Twitch for you to easily figure out what the cards do, and you don't know what these cards do. If I was playing this game on Magic Arena without a mouse over overlay, it would likely be just as impossible for new players to follow. The overlay and you not knowing what the cards do are the 2 reasons this is impossible to follow. So like, while Arena is certainly great, I feel like a big part of when people complain about this not being watchable is in large part due to just the format that I'm playing and the lack of an integrated thing for it. I have to have mana to cast this card, Pythrion. So if I sack all my lands, I don't have 2 mana left to fling it. I can only deal 23. Because I have to leave 2 artifact lands not sacrificed. No, damage. Your mana pool empties when you change individual spots of a phase. So if you float mana during blockers and then move to damage, your mana pool empties. Now, I could try and kill them here, right? This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They take 12. I float, I sack these, and I'm going to try and kill them. We're not winning as this game goes long. What do the kids say? YOLO? You've got 2 thumbs and concedes interaction. This guy right here. YOLO Brolo is the accepted turn. Angry football. Alright, we're 3-1. This is the first of the 6 Pauper decks I feel like I've played that I've really enjoyed. Which makes me glad we kept chugging at it a little bit. Feel like it's made for relatively good TV. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. We've played 4 matches. Yeah, some red elemental blasts on the board would be good. This sideboard looks like it has a lot of hate cards for the Myr match. There's Ancient Grudge and Krark-Clan Shaman to a degree. Well, so part of it too is Ryan Cryptic, and this is, as someone who's very analytical and like has sought out a lot of data to try and figure out this industry that's now my livelihood, Twitch is the Wild West of advertising, essentially. Even YouTube, to a degree, is still relatively unknown. And the one thing that I've learned as I've dug more into the metrics that are available for this industry is that it doesn't really seem like anything's very consistent. Like, follower count doesn't translate to viewer count, and viewer count doesn't translate to sub count. And the number of people watching doesn't necessarily correlate to direct advertising power because the metrics or the background of the audience that's watching has more or less purchasing power depending on who they are. And what product you're advertising. Like, the average audience watching a Magic stream is probably going to have more use for purchasing, say, razors, like Harry's razors, like I advertise, than someone watching a Fortnite stream is going to have for that same product, right? Just by the metrics of who's watching that. And I think part of the inefficiency, I need to delete that actually. The Harry's campaign is ended. It is a Scraggan Pit Skulk. It's a 1/1 that has Bloodthirst, so if an opponent was dealt damage this turn, it gets an extra counter. This opponent's playing a Stompy deck. I have to imagine this matchup's okay for us, depending on how much artifact hate they have in their sideboard. So I can pay 1 for this Frogmite, and then I can Thoughtcast this turn as well, which I think is reasonable. I can also just Prophetic Prism plus Frogmite, and then that guarantees Forger next turn. I think I'd rather do that. The Harry's products are really good. If you're looking for a razor, I would still recommend them. You just can't give me a referral for picking them up anymore, unfortunately. I mean, it has nothing to do with manly Doomfeast. It's just like the average age of the player base is younger for something like Fortnite, right? Like, I know, for instance, like, my metrics estimate that a majority of my audience is between 25 and 34. And, like, obviously there's people that fall out of those age ranges as well. But, like, so no, that's something, for instance, I talk to advertisers about, right? And when people are like, what does your audience look like? I can give them estimated demographics. If you consider YouTube memberships, I probably should, Marty. But just based on my normal mantra of take money from people in any way they prefer to give you money, I probably should look into the YouTube membership thing. Well, that didn't draw me the land I was hoping for. 4, 5, 6. So I can go Springleaf Drum into Myr Enforcer here. Another part of me wonders if it's worth the effort, though, Marty. Because, like, for instance, I have a Patreon that's open, but, like, there's, like, 12 people who are on my Patreon. And I guess it's, like, a non-zero amount, right? It doesn't take a lot of effort to do it, but it's just, like, another thing for my taxes. But I guess at the same time, YouTube already pays me some amount of ad revenue, so I guess adding YouTube subscriptions wouldn't cost me extra on my tax. Wouldn't cost me an extra thing on my taxes. Yeah, there's a Patreon linked in literally every description of every video on my YouTube. So this is probably a Vines of the Vastwood, right? Which gives +4/+4, so I think I'm actually just going to take this hit. Island Walk and Regenerate. Yep. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and play Forger here. And then I think I'm just going to play a second Forger out, honestly. Maybe I'm supposed to play... Maybe actually, I'm probably supposed to play Atog there, huh? If I play Atog, I could probably kill them on the backswing. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to play Atog instead of the second Forger. If they attack again, I'm blocking with everything. Because hopefully they only have one pump spell here. If they eat 2 of my things with pump spells, I'm going to be a little bit sad. But hopefully we trade off for 2 of their things here and they only kill 1 of ours. I don't think I can just take another hit for 6 here. I think it's time to call. What you got? There's that. That Vines the Vast what I was expecting. So I'm hoping that these 2 just die and this dies. I think that's a profitable combat for us if they lose 2 things and we only lose 1. Yeah, that combat seems like it went well. There's a 5/4 with Regenerate. But they don't have any mana up here, so this Galvanic Blast just destroys them. Yeah. But it accepts that they are destroyed. I like how even in this new format, you're up on clock. We played a little bit here. And this is, our deck's pretty aggressive, right? And like getting to think about my decisions during my opponent's plays. I don't think Electrickery is very good here. Krark-Clan Shaman seems pretty good though, huh? Sacrifice an artifact, deal 1 damage to each creature without flying. Seems reasonable. A lot of the green decks have fog in their sideboard, so I think I want to cut Temur Battle Rage. Does that seem unreasonable? Maybe I want to cut Perilous Research instead, but having the ability to generate card advantage seems pretty reasonable. And I think I'd rather have Fling, because Fling gets around things like Moment's Peace rather than Temur Battle Rage. Although Temur Battle Rage can mess them up inside of combat, which maybe that makes it better. It could also just be that I want to cut the Perilous Research and leave Fling and Battle Rage in my deck. I could see just trimming this. I don't know. I feel like my creatures are going to be so much bigger than theirs that I just don't have to be like loosey-goosey with an Atog all in. Like, I think if I'm worried about Fog, I'd rather just have Fling than Battle Rage. But I honestly feel like I'm not that worried about Fog in this matchup. I feel like I have a bunch of 4/4s. Double Galvanic Blast seems pretty good here. Maybe I'm not supposed to keep this because I don't have a Frogmite in it. I get to cast this on turn 3 at the latest, assuming I draw nothing else, though. Chromatic Star is not a terrible pickup. Ledgewalker, yep. That's a good pickup, because it lets me Galv Blast this without burning an artifact, which is nice. Rancor on Ledgewalker is really good here, because it means my big creatures can't gum up the board and stop them from attacking me for chunks of damage. So they gotta send a very real clock here. Okie-doke. I'm not sure if Thoughtcasting there is worth tapping my Myr Enforcer. Potentially takes a turn off the clock for them. You know? Sometimes magic happens regardless of which format you're playing. In from YouTube for a monthly timeout. Thanks for the 7 months. Let it rip. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. That's fine. We won game 1, right? We get to take game 3 on the play. Maybe the opponent's out of resources and we have time to fumble around here a little bit. We'd really love to draw the one copy of the Goblin that we boarded in. That would get us out of this situation. Let us kill the Soul Hunter Ledgewalker by sacrificing some artifacts. It looks like they have nothing, so we've got 4 draw steps to find that, or a way to kill them. Well, you know. I think I'm supposed to do this and just like trying to, because if I don't find any creatures in my next 2 cards, I'm probably dead anyways. Great. As you will. There's a chance we die this turn. They have a +4/+4. Finds the Vashwood is lethal here, and they'll definitely just go for it, because they have, Ledgewalker has hexproof already. Any pump spell will kill us next turn. Oh no, poor Myr Enforcer. He's getting sabotaged, chat. Alright, hopefully we get to draw our sideboard card next turn and just kill their board. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Alright, so we're going to stack up 2 of these. And I want to float red before the first one resolves, because this is going to die too. He deals damage to himself. I floated red, so that way if they go to protect one of their things, I get to Galvanic Blast it. Alright. Man, sideboard cards are good, chat. Our sideboard card was better than your sideboard card. Neener, neener. They try to put Rancor on this. I'm gonna Galvblast it in response. They could have a fog. They could have a fog in their hand. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Oh, Moto. So, they have a Rancor and I'm down an artifact because Moto's interface is a steaming pile of dog crap. That them being up a Rancor is more important here then. Alright, we got it. We got it. They decided they were dead. Oh. Yeah, things that are impossible in the paper world. Look at that. We got Pauper points. We hit a 4-1 and it didn't take us 3 hours to do it. Yay. There should be red elemental blast in the sideboard. Other than that, I don't really have any strong opinions. This was the first of the Pauper decks that we've played that I enjoyed. A lot of the other decks were like, even when we were winning, were kind of tedious. And I like that this deck had a mix of both being able to run people down while also being a little bit interactive. It felt like a healthy mix of things. Red, white, kill your stuff, draw cards. Yeah. We played against 4 value decks in that league, which is most of this format. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to like be a little bit interactive, also have reach. So I think this is I think this is something I'd be willing to play again. And while I'm not 100% sure if Pauper is going to be something we do consistently, I think if we do end up adding in some Pauper with some consistency, I'm probably going to be a little bit selective about the decks that I take and try and focus on decks like this that are a little bit more aggressive while also having these really key interactive elements to them. So, if you enjoy the Pauper content here, make sure you give the videos likes on YouTube and whatnot when they go up. Tell your other friends who enjoy Pauper to check them out. Obviously, we're not going to be doing more Pauper. We're not going to do more Pauper tomorrow, but when I get back from Gen Con, I'm going to look back on all the metrics from the Pauper video, and I'll let people know what I decide on whether or not it's going to be part of the regular. It's going to be part of our regular cycle. All right, we got some Modern here before we roll on into some Standard. We're going to play some Crab Vine. Give him the claws. Give him the claws.